Welcome everyone to our next edition of or I should say second edition. You know, it's always the next edition of the Just Two Marks weekly wrestling recap. I am the Athletic Geek.
I'm Nick.
And what we have here is a different type of wrestling recap show where we try our best not to we talk about things that are on the inside, but we try not to, really use the language and terminology of those on the inside, because at the end of the day, we're just fans. We're we don't do this for a living. We talk about wrestling because we love wrestling. We don't make a living off of this video. We both have regular jobs. As much as we love wrestling, at the end of the day, we're just two marks. And we might have in-depth discussions about wrestling, but our opinion,
it's
just two fans.
You can have in-depth discussions about a movie or TV show you like.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a director to talk about why a movie is good. You can appreciate it, but you don't have to pretend like you're in Hollywood either, like a lot of people tend to do when they do wrestling videos. So that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah. But we be our second week of it, and we hope everybody enjoyed the first episode, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. The big mistake that we did make in the first episode is we did a full WrestleMania recap, going by the announced matches and the announced... But there was one major match that we didn't talk about whatsoever.
Which is technically not announced.
It's not announced yet, but you gotta know it's happening. And this match is John Cena versus The Undertaker. It's been... The build to this match has been different than I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's been... I've been interested. I've been entertained by it. I didn't want to see Undertaker wrestle again after he lost to Roman Reigns.
Just because that was kind of a... Even...
It was a retirement. They can pretend like it wasn't, but it was.
They made shirts that say "Thank you, Taker."
Yeah, and he did. It's and I understand, if it's true that, because I was there for that match, and Undertaker has been my favorite. One of my favorites is people in general that have ever existed since I was 5 years old. I've been obsessed with the Undertaker, and to be there live and see that was cool. But it was not a very good match.
Oh no.
So it was. Yeah, it was probably his worst WrestleMania match since the Nathan Jones thing. I can't remember. Him having one of that quality. So, and it hurts me to say that as a giant Undertaker fan. And a person that thinks Roman Reigns generally has pretty good matches too, so I'm not putting all of that blame on Roman.
Oh no, it's.
But if Undertaker looked at that match back and said, "I'm not going out like that," I need to go out on a good match, on a good note.
Right.
Then I get why they would want to do it, and I get why he would want to do it.
Here's my opinion on that match. Sorry I cut you off.
No, I was done.
I watched that match. It took me a while to actually want to sit down and watch it, because that match, to me, was not seeing my Undertaker. My Undertaker, the Undertaker that you grew up with, that I grew up with, is a phenom that does not look slow and old and broken and worn down. And I get that at the end of the day, he is just a man. He's in his 50s. He's been going at this for quite some time. And he's not going to be as good in this match as he would have been in his prime. I get that. I know that the powers of the, I know that's make-believe. That's not real. But I didn't like seeing Undertaker looking like that. My comparison was... Seeing Undertaker in that state was like seeing Michael Jordan for the Wizards. He didn't look like this phenom greatest of all time. He looked like an old man Michael Jordan did, you know, an old man who had lost a couple steps when he played for the Wizards, rather than this, you know, the goat that he was with the Bulls, and that's how I viewed that match. I do feel like, I guess timing was just always off, but WWE never made this match when they should have.
Yeah.
You know, this should have been a streak match.
Mm-hmm.
Cena and Undertaker, and the fact that they never did that just proves that, you know, maybe they had little self-awareness at certain points in times. But
yeah,
you know, I'm of two minds of, you can even say three minds, where on one hand he had a retirement, and if he's not
name
and all of that, so why not just, you know, leave it as it is and then be done with it. But if Undertaker feels that, hey, I need to go out on a better note than that, well, you know, Johnny Big Match will make sure that he does not look as good, because, well, I don't hate Roman Reigns' work. I hate the Roman Reigns character, but I don't hate, you know, his work in the ring. Mm-hmm. I don't feel that he is the kind of wrestler who can have a good match with anybody.
Yeah, I would.
He you know, he can have good matches, but he needs a good partner to dance with.
Yeah. And
Undertaker, at his age, was not a good partner for Roman Reigns to dance with.
Yeah.
John Cena, perhaps. And then also,
I think Cena can. I think they can. I don't want to say I think Cena can pull a good match out of Undertaker, because, you know, that just sounds as a sentence I never thought I would say. But I think that they can put on a good match together. They're very capable of it, and I think that they will.
Yeah. My third and final point is, this is a match that historically maybe just needs to happen.
Yeah.
You have the Phenom versus, like, the guy in the company. You know, if we're going to use Japanese wrestling terms, the ace. Mm-hmm. You know, essentially the ace of the WWE is Cena. You know, he may not always be the champion. He may not always be, you know, main event WrestleMania, but he's still the fucking guy, as far as WWE is concerned. And, you know, the last time they had a match, it was Undertaker was still American Badass. Cena had not quite was definitely nowhere near the level he'd be at. This is in 2003. Mm-hmm. That's the last time these guys wrestled one another. You know, maybe historically this match needs to happen, but if the Undertaker is going to look like he did a year ago, I don't want to see it, because I don't want to see this guy who's, to this day, to me, the last bigger than life person in wrestling not look bigger than life. Mm-hmm. You know, I was mentioning earlier, you know, when we were just talking, you know, like, to me, it's still surreal the fact that 3 years ago at a convention I met The Undertaker, because meeting The Undertaker is just something you don't do. He's just such an entity. He's not somebody you just go and shake hands with, so there's sometimes, like, I have to tell myself, like, hey, you met him. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's an aura that no other wrestler that I've had about any other wrestler than him. And even to this day, with all these supposed, you know, we're on the internet making YouTube videos talking about wrestling, you know, people like us on the norm don't have, you know, that kind of surreal, you know, don't feel that kind of presence with a wrestler anymore. And The Undertaker still, with me, at 28 years of age and 24 years of being a wrestling fan, can still bring that out of me. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe I don't want to see him struggle again. And it's of two minds, you know. I hope it's good. I really, really hope it's good. I hope it's the best Undertaker match ever. I hope that he feels good enough that one more time we can see that Undertaker that captured everybody's imagination one more time, and then he can go off into the sunset. But if we get more of what we saw last year, then it's like, well, all you did was just put a damper on a good moment last year. Yeah. And that's my opinions on the match itself. talking about the actual build-up to the match, it's a lot different than what I thought it would be. Well, first of all, we have Cena kind of half-ass breaking the fourth wall in the build-up to all this, you know, calling out the Undertaker, calling him an egomaniac, you know, and the majority of the head games. Well, first of all, Undertaker hasn't even been there.
Yeah.
You know, like Kane came out to defend his honor. But on the flip side of all that is, Undertaker, who's usually the one playing head games, isn't even around. You know, he is. You know, there's no lights, there's no gongs, there's no lightning fucking with Cena. It's just Cena going, "Where are you, Undertaker? Where are you?" It's kind of the opposite of how you would think a John Cena Undertaker match would be booked, and I'm not sure. I'm not going to say I dislike it, but I'm not going to tell you that it's what I would enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I respect it for being different. Excuse me. But it's not necessarily what I want to, like, you know, because just imagine if, you know, it was Undertaker playing mind games with Cena, you know, if this match would have been done at WrestleMania 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what kind of interviews and stuff we'd be seeing, you know, with that. Now it's kind of...
I mean...
It's a different direction. It's not necessarily...
Undertaker's not like an interview promo kind of guy. He doesn't sell his matches because he talks you into the building. He just shows up.
Well...
And he hasn't done that either, I guess. But I think... I've enjoyed the build. I've enjoyed the build for what it's done to Cena as a character on a television show. Is very interesting at this point, more so than he has been in years, which has been the main criticism of him since I can remember, is that he's stale and he's boring. This is like to dip into the other side of your YouTube channel here about comic books. This John Cena is like the Dark Knight Returns Batman almost. Yeah. You know, he's not the guy anymore. He kind of sort of had a little like semi-retirement match with Roman Reigns this summer. Like he passed the torch on to him. And now he's just kind of in the background, but he's coming back and he's not gonna play by the book anymore. You know, he said that he's like, I'm gonna have to do what I'm gonna have to do, and I'm gonna have to be a dick. And he's not a bad guy, but he's definitely like, he's older and he knows what he has to do to get.
And it's also he's also desperate for it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You know he's broken. Everything he believed in WrestleMania and he couldn't make it there. Mm-hmm. You know, AJ beat him. All these different things.
Rumble, get him in the elimination chamber.
Nothing. He couldn't win. He couldn't make it to WrestleMania. So almost like he's gonna have to not be nice time John Cena in order to get what he wants, which is to be at WrestleMania.
And in the story of it too, even if WWE would have played up more the fact that Undertaker is essentially retired. It makes sense for the Undertaker. Like, John Cena is, like, losing his mind calling out this guy who's retired. Undertaker has no obligation to show up, essentially. Because as far as most people were concerned, they never said it, but the guy's retired. So, he's kind of, like... There's a lot, like I said, a lot of, like, darker quality. He's calling out a retired guy because he can't get it done anymore because, he's not the man. So, It's doing a lot of interesting things for John Cena as a character. I'm interested to see how he wrestles.
Is it going to turn? The thing is, like, I'm like, he's going to have to wrestle the match with the bad guy. He's not going to. John Cena is not going to get. He gets.
I mean, you
mixed
can say
reactions
that.
At best.
That doesn't mean he always does it. Just because he gets booed.
No. I'm just saying he always.
He didn't. Really he usually gets CM Punk as a bad guy, and he was getting booed out of the building.
But he probably for this one, it needs to be similar to Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand 2006. Hey. I'm being booed. Why not wrestle like I'm bad rather than wrestle like I'm good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the match. I'm not gonna avoid it like I did. I'm not gonna avoid it for a month like I did the Roman Reigns match. But I mean,
I don't think it's gonna steal the show. But I think it's gonna be a.
You think it goes on last?
No, it shouldn't. Reigns Lesnar is going to go on last, even though
they have to make it. And it's not even going to be the best match on the card. There, I said. I mean, I'll happily eat crow if it is, but I'd bet a paycheck that it wouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, not on a card, but you have Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Miz, and Shinsuke and AJ, and Asuka and Charlotte. Like,
well,
yeah.
we'll switch format here, and we'll. Speaking of Asuka and Charlotte, that match may not happen. Rumor and innuendo on the internet says that Charlotte may be hurt, and
nothing confirmed on television.
No, nothing confirmed on television yet. We don't know.
As far as the viewer knows, she's just fine.
Right, but feel like if she isn't able to go, what do you do in this situation? I mean, you got Asuka, you got the undefeated Empress of Tomorrow, who's ready for her first WrestleMania. What do you do?
I mean, this is dumb and lame, but Natalya just beat Charlotte, 2 weeks ago. So you could just say, hey, vacant title, Natalya versus Asuka. It'd be a serviceable match. But,
yeah.
I'd
say it'd be better than serviceable. Natalya's good.
Yeah, I mean, but there's no build to it. There's no...
Right.
There's no one on the SmackDown Live. I mean, I love Becky Lynch is probably my favorite women's wrestler on WWE besides Asuka. I mean, that would be an amazing match, but again, there's, Becky Lynch hasn't done anything interesting in a long time.
Right.
None of them have really, and except maybe Carmella, and that match would be dumb, and she has the money to make it okay, so... You
almost wonder if they're going to have her cash in and beat Asuka at WrestleMania.
I sure hope
That'd be
not.
stupid, but, I wouldn't put it past them.
Break the streak to... I don't even know who to compare Carmella to. But.
Yeah, as I've stated last week, you give Asuka the title, you keep her undefeated for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ronda Rousey win the Women's Rumble next year. You have what could be a women's wrestling match that you could make an argument for main eventing.
Yeah. You
could put that match in the main event, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Yeah, I think that if that's gonna be a possibility, then that's when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Would be Asuka versus.
Well, one thing I just thought about, one thing they could do is if there's a vacant title, why not have the winner of the Women's Battle Royal?
Yeah, wrestle Asuka.
Wrestle Asuka, and the winner becomes the SmackDown Women's Champion. That's if Charlotte can't go. Hopefully Charlotte's okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they said the same things about that's a good idea. They said the same thing about AJ, which I mean is.
And it seems to me lately AJ's at least going to be able to, from the rumor and innuendo and talk on Twitter and interviews with AJ himself, he's going to be good to go for WrestleMania. Now, whether he'll be okay to go after WrestleMania, that remains to be seen. I hope he is able to go after WrestleMania because, as we discussed last week, I believe it's still a little too early for Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if AJ can't go, you got no choice. You've kind of booked yourself to the point like, oh, you either give it either AJ retains or you give it to Shinsuke. And I mean, I guess you could still have AJ retain, and you could pull.
Vacate it.
I wasn't even gonna say that. You could just do a schmoz kind of thing, like oh, he's hurt from this match, and then
yeah.
Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, I challenge you, AJ Styles. Oh, knee attack in the backstage. AJ's a fighting spirit. Come on. And then he ends up losing the title that way, and then build up for a return. I mean, you could do something like that. I'd much rather have that happen than, hey, guys, I can't wrestle.
Yeah.
But, I'd also rather AJ say, hey guys, I can't wrestle, here you go, and then go and get that knee healed up rather than, hey guys, I'm going to try and put on one more match. Well, AJ has to retire now because he's just fucked up his leg completely.
Then,
get Daniel Bryan back and then lose AJ Styles. The last thing, that's the opposite.
And speaking of Daniel Bryan, the tag team match that was announced, him and Shane versus Cammy, as AJ Styles so eloquently put it. But another injury rumor.
When I say that, I feel like they need to have tights with the Street Fighter character or Cammy on them.
Yeah. But another injury report of Shane McMahon with
diverticulitis.
I think that was not even like a rumor. I'm pretty sure that was
he does have diverticulitis.
Like confirmed.
He confirmed he's in the hospital with diverticulitis. He does not know if he will be back in time for WrestleMania. As far as the TV show is concerned, well, they've made the match official. It wasn't official last week,
Yeah.
you know. This is the biasness, I guess, that we had because we didn't talk about Undertaker and John Cena, but because Daniel Bryan came back, we talked about a match that wasn't announced yet, so, but it is made official. We will have Daniel Bryan and Shane versus Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. And if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens win, they get their jobs at SmackDown Live back. So, anyone with half a brain will tell you who's going to win that match.
Yeah, but it just seems stupid to have Daniel Bryan lose his glorious return after the biggest underdog story leading into a second biggest underdog story. And then he comes back and loses.
But I mean, Daniel Bryan's also the kind of guy who would probably want to put people over.
Well,
and you might also, if he's ready to go, you might have Shane doing the honors in that one, which needs to happen.
That doesn't matter, though. It's still a loss. I don't care if he wants to do it or not. It's irrelevant. The fact that he would come back from such a fantastic real-life story that bled into the WWE and then he loses, I don't want to see that. I want to see him come back and win. But
But that would also be some fantastic, way to make Zayn and Owens more bad guys if they were to get that win. Yeah. Especially if they were to cheat. And then it could lead into more stuff with Bryan, Zayn, and Owens.
What are they going to... what are they going to do if Shane can't go? Is this going to be a triple threat? Handicap match?
Well, you could either do that. I mean, you could give Bryan another partner. Who would his other, for some reason, and I posted about this on the Facebook page, who would be his other partner? I believe one fan said just Dolph Ziggler randomly popped into his head, which, I mean, I don't know if Ziggler's doing anything, but that doesn't make sense. But, I mean, it doesn't make sense other than the fact that, there's a mutual respect. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking the individual's opinion. I mean, it was a good choice. I mean, shit. Ziggler needs something to do. Go. And it'd be a good match.
I would much rather that be a triple threat.
Or a handicap.
Yeah. I mean, if it was originally supposed to be Sami versus Zayn, or Sami versus Owens, I would watch Sami versus Zayn too, though. And,
Sami versus Zayn.
Make it a triple threat, and then it essentially would be a handicap match. We're
gonna tangent just a little bit here. Is Sami versus Zayn like the WrestleCon Johnny Mundo versus Johnny Impact match they're promoting?
So next, I'm headed to WrestleMania next Wednesday, and I was looking up just the list of all the events going on to figure out, where we're gonna fill up some time other than NXT and WrestleMania, because we're gonna be down there. And the Lucha Underground versus Impact is advertising Johnny Mundo versus Johnny Impact. And I love John Morrison, so I'm at least going to try to watch it. I don't know. I hope that it's just a really silly, he puts sunglasses on. I don't know how they would do it, but I mean, we've seen people wrestle blow-up dolls and invisible people, so...
It's one of those things, you mentioned that to me, and it's do these people not understand that this isn't the universe mode on, 2K18 where you can have American Badass Undertaker wrestle Ministry Undertaker? They're aware that this isn't how real life works, right? Yeah. But you say that's on the Friday. I'd be tempted to go if I were you, just because hey, why not?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of good wrestling going on that weekend outside of WWE and Ring of Honor. But that was off subject. What I was saying though,
we had to bring it up though.
Yeah, for sure.
Sami versus Zayn, yo.
Yeah, a triple threat between Zayn, Owens, and Daniel Bryan. It's very reminiscent of a triple threat between Batista, Orton, and Bryan. His big moment, because that was essentially a handicap match for parts of it as well, and that's how that would play out. So I mean, I don't know. There's some cool. Circular storytelling there if they do go that way.
And it's in New Orleans, the same place that happened.
So I mean, I think that would be that's what I would rather see.
Right.
Him get. I'd rather see that than the tag team match anyway. Actually.
And because go back, turn back the hands of time 10 years ago. If you were to tell me, hey, in 10 years there will be a triple threat match at WrestleMania with Kevin Steen, El Generico, and Bryan Danielson. I would be, shut up and take my fucking money.
Yeah.
You know, book my ticket right fucking now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's pretty crazy being a kid in high school that got into indie wrestling in like the mid 2000s and watching all those guys wrestle like in front of 150 people in St. Louis at like just random indie shows and going to Ring of Honor.
Seeing Neville and Zayn wrestle one another
down the street, basically.
Yeah, essentially down the street in a Harley Davidson dealership warehouse. Now, to be fair, it sounds a little bit more Bush League than they made to. The warehouse, like the way it was set up, is like really nice and like lends itself real well for events. Like they've had like Kid Rock concerts at that warehouse. Yeah. It's not like a rundown piece of nothing, but at the end of the day, it's still a motorcycle dealership warehouse that we got to see. Neville wrestle.
So that's just a really cool thing to me. I don't have very many hip cool stories about seeing, bands playing in front of 50 people in a basement to end up headlining Coachella. But I got some watching people wrestle in front of 50 people in a little ring in Illinois that ended up wrestling.
I got to see I got to see a guy who won the world title at WrestleMania and got to hang out with him. While he was at his, selling his merch and buying a T-shirt from him, and our buddy JC, who you've seen from some other commentaries, making an art project for him and talking to him and having a good time, and then he cashes in Money in the Bank to win the title. That's down to 3 years ago to the date yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a
real cool thing to see all that happen, just as personally as a wrestling fan.
And one of the ones that really stands out to me was at another KC Hall for the same group where we talked about Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, if you didn't pick up on who we were talking about, having a nice little casual conversation with Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
He just in the corner and we were just talking. Like just
talking about Rugrats,
and he had a striped tank top on. He said, I feel like this is what Steve from Blue's Clues would wear if he worked out, and we mentioned football, and I mentioned being a Broncos fan. I said, you probably hate my team, and him mentioning, he wasn't around. He was a little kid during the drive, so he didn't really have as much ill will, and then getting angry with me, saying my team gets all the good players because they just acquired Peyton Manning, and talk about how his hero was Shawn Michaels. Like, so I really realized my hero was a male stripper, and
he's a cool guy, but that's one.
Which segues into NXT.
Who has he's been outstanding for a long time, but man, has he's really proved his worth.
Oh yes,
tenfold.
And
in these last couple years.
He will have an unsanctioned.
Yes, it's official now. This is what I was waiting for WrestleMania weekend. I'm so excited for Ciampa Gargano 2. I guess they wrestled in the Classic, which I loved that match. I thought that match was phenomenal.
But now there's real story.
Yeah, now there's a good story behind it, and
I think it's really
both guys are on a bigger stage, and it's.
I think it's really funny what they've been. I shouldn't say funny. Really good, what they've been doing with this whole storyline with Gargano being fired or whatever from NXT, and him going to the Performance Center, trying to catch Ciampa there, him. Buying a ticket and getting in the crowd and trying to assault him there. They just posted a video on YouTube of Gargano going to Ciampa's house at 3 o'clock in the morning, banging on his door and saying, "Let's go, come on." And, it's been a really well done storyline, and
that benefited weirdly from Ciampa getting hurt, because whenever he first turned on him, it would have played out a lot sooner. And not that NXT is bad about rushing things, but it just logically would have,
right.
Anyone would have played that sooner. But the fact that it waited, and then it gave Gargano that chance to elevate himself that much more in the meantime, made this so much better now that he's coming back and, beat him up after having the best WWE match in years and years and years, Well, perfect timing for all that to come out. And now the big NXT show of the year, the WrestleMania show, is the blow-off, and I'm I think that could be match of the weekend of any. Very well.
It could, with the uncertainties on, if AJ is going to be able to be in complete AJ form, it might be that way. We say that, and AJ's going to come out there just like a house of fucking bricks. And he's going to be more phenomenal than ever,
I can't remember a time where there's as many potential match of the weekend contenders.
Match of the year, even.
Yeah, because you have, even on just that NXT card, Almas and Aleister Black easily could steal the show just as much as Gargano and Ciampa could. Two fantastic guys. Another match I'm very excited about. Black debuted last year's WrestleMania NXT show, didn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
And did he wrestle Almas?
I'll have to go back and check. I'm not sure.
I think that he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
I would really...
Which is interesting.
I'm kind of two minds,
I'm going to Google that while we're talking real quick.
Yeah. Hopefully this, since we're not doing our original plan of using your phone to as a backup to record this, hopefully after the live viewing of this is actually on there. So.
Yeah.
But kind of going off.
He did. He debuted last year against Almas. I didn't realize that till right now, but that's actually sick. That a year from then.
They're both going for the NXT title.
One's undefeated and one has launched himself to that next level.
I kind of wonder who needs to go over now, or I win the match. I guess I should say. Kind of had to bite my tongue there and break my own rules. So sorry about that. But who wins the title here? Do you give it to? Do you let Almas keep building him up as this incredible villainous champion, or do you give it to a guy who just caught so much? Has there been a talent catch such fire like Aleister Black? On with the exception of maybe Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
But has there been anybody in the WWE catch that kind of fire and actually be in a position to capitalize on the fire and not, be sitting back down the card like Strowman was?
Or be just ignored like Rusev.
Yeah.
There are people who catch fire that doesn't matter, but he's caught fire on purpose, intentionally. I don't know who I want to win. I want Aleister Black to win. I like Aleister Black way more.
Right.
But part of me thinks that they're gonna just hotshot almost into the main roster, which I think he's actually 1,000% ready for. But I don't think the bad track record. Think they're ready for him right now. They don't need it.
The main roster does not have the best track record of NXT stars on the main roster.
And I can't think of there's not a hole that needs filled with Almas right now. You know what I mean? And if he loses it, that's what's gonna happen. If he loses the title, he might get a rematch. I think he'll probably just show up on Raw the next Monday.
Right.
I don't.
Do you have tickets to the Raw after WrestleMania or no?
No, we're going home Monday morning. Let's watch it from home.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to get that many consecutive days off.
Oh, trust me, I understand.
Yeah.
But we'll.
But yeah, so that NXT card and that ladder match with the North American title.
Yeah, it's been in the can for a while, but this past Wednesday, EC3 makes his NXT debut. Very, very excited about this one. I thought that Derek Bateman on his first run was funny, but he had a ceiling to where he was going to go as Derek Bateman, and he's a rare instance where going to TNA helped his career, and he wasn't just going there to collect a paycheck and flounder. He went to TNA, proved that he's capable of being a top guy in this business, or in the business, not this business rather, and he's back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even more so, and I mentioned this when we just kind of chatted earlier, the fact that they're keeping him with the name EC3, which is, continuity-wise, was given the name Ethan, which stands for Ethan Carter III, which means that he was kayfabe storyline-wise, whatever you want to call it, related to Dixie Carter.
Nephew, right?
Yes, it was her nephew. It's funny that they're keeping at least that, kind of a tie into continuity with TNA.
Yeah, that's interesting. They'll probably just be like an orphan acronym he'll probably just be EC3, and they'll never ever call
Yeah,
him Ethan Carter the Third.
they'll just be EC3. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a problem with names. You know, they just drop a name at the drop of a hat. But that is interesting that they would do that. I mean, and it's weird because a lot of times there's the name value thing. You know, you bring in, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to change their name because Samoa Joe already has a built-in audience. Like EC3 had that a little bit, but not really. Like, you know what I mean? He went to Impact in a time that it mattered a lot less than when Samoa Joe was tearing it up on TNA.
Mm-hmm.
The audience was less. It meant it was less prestigious. Yeah, he did, like you said, did very well and proved himself. But it's not like they're like, oh, if we don't name him EC3, then his fans aren't going to show up. Like, it's not that same deal. So it's very interesting that they kept that one.
Right.
And they kept Ricochet, who was also debuting in that match.
Ricochet has that following though.
Yeah, exactly. Ricochet
a
makes
little bit
sense.
more. A little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Ricochet makes sense that that they would keep him that name. But yeah, whatever. I mean, EC3 is fine. It's a fine name.
It works.
Yeah, but yeah, Ricochet weirdly being like overshadowed by EC3 its debut. I think that I don't know personally. I didn't watch. I gotta be honest. I didn't watch anything that EC3 did in TNA.
Oh, me either. I mean,
So,
I catch.
but
a
I've
little
seen
bit.
a lot of Ricochet matches over the years, and I've been a fan of his since he had a lot of hair.
I shouldn't say I didn't watch anything that EC3 did, but I haven't really given too much of a fuck about TNA ever since they got rid of AJ Styles.
Yeah.
But
same.
I'd catch something on YouTube, or I'd be flipping through the channels.
I've probably seen clips.
And
before,
I'd see something that he was doing as EC3, and I'm like going, wow, WWE had something here, and they did not capitalize, and now they're riding that mistake. That's for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, also very pumped to have Ricochet in the WWE. I think that he has tremendous ceiling, honestly, as a wrestler. I think that he's a super versatile.
Oh yeah.
He's got a unique look. Put on crazy matches with just about anybody. It'll be interesting to see how they use him going forward. And then got Adam Cole in that match as well. Killian Dane.
Adam Cole, baby. Always wanted to do that.
Who else is there's a 6-man match, isn't there, or 5?
Fact check me because I'm not sure.
All right, fact check time.
Fact check that, yeah. Since this may have a glitch in uploading, and we might have to reshoot this again tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yo, you're supposed to stall when I do this, just so you know.
Hey there, let me tell you something about the
very bad stalling is what this is.
Well, hey, I'll just say this. Go ahead and if you look in the description box for the Facebook page, it's updated almost daily with blogs, discussions, different kinds of things from all aspects of geek culture: pro wrestling, comic books, science fiction, gaming, anime, and more. So go ahead and go to facebook.com/athleticgeek89 and sure like that page and join the discussion.
All right, so there are 2 other people in that match that I didn't mention. Lars Sullivan, who I don't really care about.
Yeah,
no
offense, Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine. And Velveteen Dream, who, you know, there could be a dark horse for that title. Because, you know, that's every once in a while WWE, NXT specifically, will throw in one of those non-indie names your way that really kind of like, oh man, what happened there? Or a non-TNA guy. Because I mean, I didn't know who he was really. I mean, he was on Tough Enough, I think. I remember vaguely, but yeah, that ever since he, you know, debuted even interestingly, and then he really showed his mettle with that match against Aleister Black, and it's kind of just been on an upswing since then. So, you know, it'll be interesting there. I think he has a chance to take that one. I think
he's a dark horse. I feel like a bad guy's gonna win it.
Yeah.
You know, because you need to. I might be mistaken, but I feel like it'll either be Velveteen Dream's probably the dark horse. EC3 or Adam Cole will be.
Lars Sullivan could as well, because Lars Sullivan, as much as, you know, no offense, I'm sure Lars Sullivan has his fans out there, but he's not one of those WWE original products that's really setting my world on fire right now. He's okay. But I mean, he's still a big deal in NXT.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and he very well could win it.
But I could just see like Adam Cole, because Adam Cole's yet to have a title. You know, I could see him, and then maybe like somebody chasing him. You know, Ricochet chasing Adam Cole, or Ricochet chasing EC3.
It almost feels weird that Adam Cole hasn't. I don't want to say it seems beneath him, but he was like one of their bigger signings they've had in a long time. So it's weird that
he's always been really well featured, though. It's just he hasn't been champion.
Yeah,
you know.
But to like go from being really well featured and then like it seems like it would be about the time for him to start going for the title. But I mean, hey, maybe if you give it to him, maybe it just makes the belt mean more, you know.
Or I mean, you could also Aleister Black wins the NXT title. Boom, Adam Cole, Aleister Black, they can have good matches. They go back after one another and then go from there. I mean, there's so many different things that can be done with this. The only thing that really concerns me about having this North American Championship in NXT is, what does that mean for the UK title?
Yeah.
I mean, so far they've... I don't want to say it's useless because some matches that have been contested for have been fantastic, but, you know, they haven't really gotten their UK brand off the ground. It's been defended on, like, shows around the UK. I mean, I'm not as probably familiar with the UK wrestling scene as I should be, but it's like, so what? Why is it around? It feels like it's just like such a non-featured belt. It's like,
yeah,
what do you do with it?
Just bring it in a couple times a year. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a remnant of a different plan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is kind of left over at this point.
You know, like they had these, and you know, it may happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. They may still pull off the UK brand. But, yeah, I agree. Like, they had this big plan for this UK division and this UK belt, and they had this great tournament, and it's a beautiful belt. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I like the actual belt itself.
But it's like, well, it's not a mid-card belt for NXT. What is it?
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of, in my universe mode on 2K18, it is my mid-card belt for NXT, but now that it's officially not.
It also being
what is it?
The North American belt, you could say the same thing about, but the UK belt seems, it's weird for it to be a mid-card belt because it was made for a specific division, a brand, yeah. So it's not really a mid-card belt because it's just weird to just have a rando American guy as the United States or the British champion, but I mean anyone can win the U.S. championship too. Yeah. So whatever. I don't know what that means for that. It'll probably just continue to be featured how it is, sporadically and with good matches. Which,
I mean, because I'm not gonna say it's a pointless belt because the matches have been very high quality and. You know,
had one of the best WWE matches of last year.
Yeah, absolutely. But beyond that, I mean,
I do like the idea of maybe now that we've discussed a little bit of Adam Cole potentially winning that belt to just make it a big deal right off the bat. To give it to someone you're like, how is this guy not a world champion yet? And then he wins that belt and he carries it like a world champion. You know, I see that point, but I also kind of compare it to back when they brought back the United States Championship back in 2003. And the finals, I mean, they had a tournament, and the finals were Benoit versus Eddie. Mm-hmm. I remember a lot of people were thinking, hey, why don't you give it to Benoit? You know, he was a former world champion in WCW, and that would mean automatically elevate it because a guy who was once a former world champion is holding it. But then you also go with, well, Eddie Guerrero holds it, and, still just has just as good solid matches. I mean, you just don't know. And then earlier in the year, Benoit almost won the WWE title from Kurt Angle. So, Benoit was hot, but then Eddie won it, and then Eddie did a damn fine job establishing it. So I could honestly see a guy like EC3 winning it, or Velveteen Dream. Instead, Cole goes after the NXT title, and then Ricochet is chasing Velveteen Dream or EC3 until the next takeover. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm okay with either one of them. Worst case scenario is this thing goes to Lars Sullivan, which I could see them honestly just doing just to go, ha! You know, kind of Nelson us a little bit, but, you know, it is what it is. Beyond that, I mean, I'm sure there's some more matches I'm not thinking.
The tag match, which
that Dusty Rhodes Classic, and then
and then what was the deal with? Is Bobby Fish out or not?
Bobby Fish is out, I believe.
Because I don't know. It's hard to keep up with all of that. But as far as I know, that's a triple threat tag match.
Yeah.
With those two.
And then what's the women's?
And Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong.
What's the women's match?
Shayna Baszler versus Ember
they're gonna. I could see Shayna Baszler winning that one, and then Ember Moon going to the main roster after this.
Yeah. Could.
I'm seeing like that's how I honestly see this whole thing playing. I see Shayna Baszler winning it. Ember Moon goes to the main roster. Not that I think that should happen right now, because that's not a knock on Ember Moon. It sounds she'd be great on the main roster. It's just a matter of how they're going to use her on the main roster.
Yeah.
They've flubbed almost everyone from NXT. And I don't want to see that happen to Ember Moon. But other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to
NXT.
New Japan news. This Sunday I'll be staying up late to watch Sakura Genesis, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And and we can't forget about the Strong Style Evolved that was this weekend from California, live on Access TV. And the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks. If you haven't seen this match yet, you know, go out of your way to watch this. It was a fantastic match, a fantastic story. The Bullet Club is falling apart even worse at the seams, and you wonder, is this the end of the Bullet Club altogether? Because it's got that name value that has brought such interest into Ring of Honor New Japan, but it's also one of those, well, do you kind of creatively find a way to end it before it ends itself? You know, do you make sure this thing has a good ending, unlike the NWO?
Yeah.
So I'm of two minds about that. You know, I feel like we could be seeing a lot of different things playing out at All In. If you watch at the end of the match, very similar to what happened whenever the Bullet Club first fell apart at the seams, where Kenny shoved Matt Jackson down on accident, you have Cody perhaps accidentally shoving Nick Jackson down. And if you've been keeping up with Being the Elite, we just got a notification on phone, apologize for that. You kind of notice that Matt's kind of siding a little more with Cody and angry at Kenny, where Nick's kind of like wanting to play, kind of more wants to listen to Kenny's side, and now he feels he can't trust Cody. So, very interesting to see what happens, but, you know, I as a fan, it's just heartbreaking to watch this, because, you know, like, Being the Elite was so entertaining, and it was like, all this stuff was so good, and then, like, now you're seeing this, and, you know, it's like a heart punch, just like, no, you guys are friends, what is going on, damn you, Cody! And Cody's phenomenal in his role as a bad guy here. Yeah. He is just naturally this psychotic jerk, you know, that's power hungry and just desperately wants to control the Bullet Club. Yeah. And he's so manipulative, he's manipulating Matt and Nick into wanting to go singles, you know, like telling like, yo, you're the Marty, or you're the Shawn and he's the Marty, you know, and saying like, he's just such a weasel, you know, that he's doing his job very well, and I'm interested to see where it plays out, but I have a feeling I'm gonna be very heartbroken at the end of the Bullet Club and the Elite, but that's about all the New Japan stuff I can really mean. There's more. Subscribe to New Japan World and watch this card. I can't remember everything on the card. I do know Zack Sabre Jr. versus Okada. I believe if Okada retains, he will either have tied or broken the record for the most successful title defenses. So maybe after he gets that record, maybe, you know, we can see something that I've been clamoring for about the last year now, and that is somebody else to be IWGP World Champion. And that's not saying Okada's bad. I'm just saying I want to see somebody else. So, anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think that covers it this week.
All right, well, I really hope that this uploads. So, if you have anything you want to add to the discussion, let us know in the comments section down below. We will reply to you, and we will engage in all discussion. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at athleticgeek_89. Follow him at
fake_Nick P.
Be sure to like the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/athleticgeek89. That's Nick. I'm the Athletic Geek, and we are just two marks.